traditional medicine. We talk about curing without side effects. We talk about having our own treatment without expenses. I would comment that actually the committee has done a good job. Much a time, most of these practitioners who do traditional healing, Mr. President, are treated to be like witchcraft. They are not. There's a clear difference between one having drugs that heal and the other negative side of it. So as a continent and as PAP, let us separate and have the best out. Mr. President, from where I come from, when a boy reaches 16 years, he goes for circumcision, Mr. President. When he goes for circumcision, Mr. President, this boy is healed by traditional herbs. They are collected, they are burned and crushed in ash and applied on the scar of the stick, Mr. President. Mr. President, the stick heals very fast in 2 weeks.
Don't go into detail, man.
That is it, Mr. President. And that's our culture, Mr. President. This traditional medicine, Mr. President, must be researched and know what is this that is this singular herb that heals scars in 2 weeks. Let us give our traditional medicine research stations, branding, and even labeling, Mr. President. Let us also allow our traditional medicines from different countries to be able to flow to other countries without restrictions. Let us also change in our mind, Mr. President. Let us not preach wine and take water. As we make this good thing in this house, sometimes, Mr. President, let's be able to consume this traditional medicine. Some of us don't. We tend to believe that they are for the poor. They do good. If you see my health, Mr. President, I'm well done because of the continuous consumption of drinks that come from herbal, that clean my urinal. And that's why, Mr. President, for men who are in this house, we have very good drugs, Mr. President, which can give you back the energy that you need, Mr. President. Let us give these people a lot of support. When they make these things, Mr. President, it heals all of us. It might treat the problem. Thank you, Mr. President, for giving this one. This is Majimbo Kalasinga from Kenya.
I just want to propose something. In addition to standardizing what our researchers are doing, could we not, because there is a society of witches and wizards and wishes. That society, to me, is not just negative. Because the astrology that the Egyptians started and the Greeks and the Europeans today are taking over and have taken over comes from our foreparents that used to get up at night, use a certain leaf and fly, go back and come back before the morning. And they come back with special spiritual knowledge that have to do with our culture. I'm sure Prof will support this with me. Yes. There are people in Africa who used to go to the astral world and come back with divine knowledge for harvest, a good harvest, for childbirth, for healing of pandemics, before European science came. Where have we kept that and where are we going to do with that? Because there are still people in Africa today who still have that knowledge, that divine knowledge from God. You discovered in West Africa, a child was born with other talents, what they call the fifth eye, the sixth eye, the seventh eye, the color of Banje, and killed. Nature of Emperor Haile Selassie was not because of the weapons that the Ethiopians had. I think the Ethiopians are here, they can go back to their history. The history of the Inca, the history of the Kano Bono Empire, every tradition in Africa, even before the wars of Conquer, the wars of whatever that came from the Europeans, the Africans had. I don't want to talk about my own society. So I would like that this committee and PAP should actually redefine that we're a people with great potential when it came to the spiritual. We have our natural resources. We only need to call on our governments to standardize this and will be more than Chinese. Your Excellency, I want to just end here. Yeah, let me just end here, sir, with the issue of land resources. Chinese have come to other countries. Your Excellency.
Order, I'm saying, I'm indicating for time. And I think those keeping our time, please, can you activate the system? So please wind up.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say that we are crying about our environment protecting climate change. But these Chinese people, they are very smart. In Cameroon, where they have come, they are picking only the useful land, the forest, where these herbs and leaves are. Pretending they are cultivating rice, they are doing timber exploitation left and right. So we should call on all our government to be very, very careful that we preserve our land resources. That we make sure that we put, like what UNESCO is doing in many of the areas, we preserve and make sure that we have natural reserves in our country. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Mr. President and honorable members of Parliament, Africa, for many years, thousands of years, even before Christ, was the center of civilization. The first surgery that happened in this world happened in Africa. When Africans started surgery, open surgery did not start in Europe. It started in Africa and in Cairo. Many years ago, Africans used to treat themselves on herbs. And that's why these days you are told food is medicine. Most of our traditional foods were used as medicine. They were used to treat certain types of diseases. They are antioxidant, it cleans your blood. They are anti-carcinogenic. They treat free radicals in our blood. And those are the foods that our people used to eat. But these days, due to modernization, because we are invaded by some extract of human beings, and we decided to abandon what we used to do and adopt what they used to do. And therefore, Mr. President, there are a few things that I need to suggest to this Parliament. One, we need to move forward. The first thing that we need to do is to acquire appropriate technology to extract these products, to process them so that they can be used for human consumption, so that we get our own treatment. How much money are we giving to the West? Billions and billions of dollars. All medicines are coming from outside Africa, and yet we have it here. And most of these modern medicines, the structure of these medicines are from the plants that used to treat us. They just designed the structure, the chemical structure of our plants, and they use it to do synthetic medicine. It is all from our plants. And therefore, we need to advise our governments to acquire technologies that can extract these plants so that we use them for medicine. The second thing is to transform our mindset. Most of the Africans now do not eat our local traditional foods, which is medicinal. Let us change our mindset. You remember when COVID invaded the world, most of the deaths, many people who died, 70% of those who died of COVID is not from Africa, from outside. Because we were protected by our own foods that we eat, the local medicinal foods that we eat. So let us go back to our roots. Mindset change. If you are here eating only processed food, eating things that are not even food, it is just to fill your stomach, I think mindset change should happen. Thirdly, We need to advise our governments to avail funds to our researchers on medicinal plants. We need to produce them. Production is very important. We need funds. Like, for example, in Uganda, our president is very concerned about this. When COVID invaded us, he actually found one of the scientists. He produced what is called Covidex. Ugandans never died of COVID because of that medicine called Covidex. We are not even about 1,000 people died, not about 1,000. Because once that thing was done, I have it even in my bag. Everywhere I go, I just put it in my throat, in my nose, nothing can happen to me. Yes. It is all everywhere. So even for men, prostate cancer, he has that product. When you keep on consuming, because men are now 80%, when you reach around 50 to about 50 years, you must be careful. You need to be consuming that product. And you clean your system, your urinary tract system, and you will be standard all the time. Standard. So, lastly, I want to advise this parliament that we not only look up to the West. We have everything that it takes in Africa. And as Africans, we have billions and billions of dollars from our plants. We can get billions of dollars from our plants. When you go to the US, they have now moved away from this other medicine. This synthetic medicine, they have moved away from it. They are only on herbal medicine. So let us go back to our roots, Mr. President. And I want this Pan-African Parliament to start the process of promoting African medicine, traditional medicine. And we should start eating our own food. Food is medicine, nothing else. Thank you very much.
The truth is that even in this room, where we have MPs, maybe educated people, you use herbs and some other herbs even for luck, to be MPs, to be whatever. You use all these things. But one thing that is clear, you don't want to be known that you are doing that. And that is the death of traditional medicine. That is the death of traditional medicine. No one wants to be known that this is what you are doing. And it all comes from the issue of this distinction of modern and traditional. I think there's a disaster there. That if the medicine comes from Africa, it is traditional.